Hello and welcome to this video about how to get better at Beat Saber. I'm going to be including each and every trick, starting with grip. I get asked pretty commonly what grip style I use because people are like, wow, you're pretty good at Beat Saber. So I thought I might as well just make a video on it and tell them that they can watch this video if they want all the tips and tricks that I use to get better at Beat Saber. Also, this is a hand feel, so here's my hands of a decent Beat Saber player. So I use the Oculus touch controllers for the Oculus Quest 1, which are some of the best controllers for Beat Saber. Other than the CV1, these are basically the best you can use. And I use the claw grip, which is where you hold the controller like this. So you stick your two fingers to the top, and then you grab it like this, and then you just wrap your other fingers around and make a really tight grip on it. And I do that with both controllers. Some people use two different grips. I use the same grip for each controller. And yeah, that's just how I hold the controllers. And then like when I need to select something, I just use my thumb here and push down the select button, which it works pretty well. Pausing, I can pause by just bringing my thumb around, but there is a mod that allows you to pause by slicing a block. That was just added to the Discord if you guys want to add that. So yeah, that's basically it when it comes to this. And if you're using the same controllers as me, I would recommend, I don't know if you can see that, but there's a piece of tape here I added so that the controller doesn't dig into my fingers here. Because while your fingers are here and you're swinging your hand a lot, the controller will be pushed into your fingers like this really hard, and so I often get bruising right here, and the tape just helps to reduce that. So I would recommend putting a piece of electrical tape right here, if you guys want to. If you're not using the Oculus touch controllers like this, you'll just have to find good grip style for your controllers. But grip is very important when you're playing Beat Saber. I used to play using normal grip like this, and I would usually hold them like kind of sideways to swing. But if you're gonna try and be a pro player or like or at least a high ranked player, like top 2000 player or even top 1500, you're gonna have to use one of the most optimized grip styles, which for these controllers is claw grip. Alright, anyways, that's the grip part of the whole thing done, so on to the game. Let's go. Alright, here we are in the game now. We just went over the best grip to use for, well, these controllers specifically, and we went over how grip is very important for playing the game. Now I'm going to go over settings and what you really want to use when, like, because not only does grip matter, but also grip and saber positions for controllers. So first things first, you want to have the maximum FPS that you're capable of running. So if your computer can't run like ×8 anti-aliasing, render scaling 1.2, this kind of stuff, turn it down until you have the max FPS output. My computer is extremely good, so I don't have to worry about any of that. I can basically just max out all the settings, except for render scale. If I turn that up to 2, my game will lag out. This, I wouldn't worry about. Controllers. If you use the same controllers as me, feel free to take these controller settings. I don't mind. Except, I'm going to explain to you why my controller settings are kind of not optimized perfectly. So, if you've seen Bandit's video on controller settings, which I watched, he explains how using a Z position that's lower is actually more helpful because it changes your swing angle to be more accurate, if that makes sense. Because you're moving the saber, instead of being up here, you're putting the handle down here, meaning that you have less room for error, which means your swings will be straighter, which is what you generally want out of your swings. You want an extremely straight swing, you know? You want it to be as straight as possible. But for me, I just am very comfortable with a 7.5 because it gives me more reach. if that makes any sense, because my saber is moved up further. So technically, instead of having no extra reach, I'm getting 7.5 centimeters of extra reach on my saber. But this does have the counter effect of making my swings less accurate. So I have to be extra accurate when I'm swinging in order to hit the blocks with a good score. I'm still capable of getting 96s and 95s easily because I'm just so used to these saber settings. So if you want to use these, rotation 5, rotation Z, 90, all this, feel free to. But I would recommend, instead of getting used to 7.5, for accuracy reasons, I would consider keeping it at 0 or even setting it to negative 3.5. Maybe not 3.5 so much, but like 2.5 would be a good measure. But then you're not going to have as far of a reach, so you have to get used to the blocks being closer to you before you swing. Either way, these should be better than other stuff, you know, if you're not using any settings. This should be basically perfect for claw grip if you use just rotation X at 5 and rotation Z at 90. Other than that, we need to go into some of the other settings, which aren't actually here. I do believe that those settings can be found in here. Alright, so yeah, player options. I'm not 5'2". I'm actually, I think I'm 5'9" in real life. So I keep my height at about 6 inches, 6 or 7 inches lower, because by keeping your in-game height as a lower height, it spawns the blocks lower down, meaning you don't have to swing your arms super high up to hit the blocks. You just have to swing them right at your hip height, which is right here for me. So you just don't have to move your arms as much, which means you have better stamina and better accuracy throughout the entire song. So if you're using a normal player height, I would recommend lowering it down. So all you gotta do is squat down a little bit and then adjust it until you found a comfortable one. And definitely don't have automatic player height. You're definitely gonna want to set note jump offset to further, because on really fast note jump speed songs, you won't be able to react in time. So having a further jump offset will really help, which I've noticed has actually improved my rank by quite a bit. I used to be 1500, and since I turned that on, I've just been grinding down, and now I'm 1384. Environment effects, definitely turn that off, because that's extremely distracting. And then expert plus environment effects, turn that off as well. You don't need any of that stuff on. Definitely make sure you have reduced debris on, hide the note spawn offset, and then advanced HUD. If you want to use advanced HUD, I would actually argue that turning off your HUD completely can help, because then you don't have to worry about, like, you know, being distracted by what score you have. Let's see, what else is important? Environments, I wouldn't say that an environment really matters. Colors, definitely use colors that you're comfortable with. If you can't tell the difference between the two colors easily when a block pops up, then that's not good. Like if you have colors that are kind of similar or you're getting mixed up, I would change your colors. And then also definitely use gray, because I personally think that having a gray background is extremely helpful when it comes to seeing the blocks pop up. And then sabers, I wouldn't say sabers are super important for accuracy and for the game, but they can help with some people. Like personally, I can't use the default sabers because I don't think they look good, and I just am inaccurate with them. These sabers, on the other hand, I'm using a thin trail for, which can help with knowing how far your saber is. So having a thin trail, which is what a lot of pro players do, can help you know exactly when you're able to hit a block. You see how I can see right where the tip of my saber is by swinging my saber? Sorry, I know I'm stuttering a lot. I'm not usually talking this much in videos. Anyways, yeah. So I would recommend using a thin saber trail at the end. And then, other than that, that should basically cover most of the things that you should be worried about when it comes to settings. Um, if you're having a problem, like your songs feel off with the beat of the level, you could always try overriding your audio latency to make sure that this dot hits perfectly. Mine doesn't need to be adjusted, but if your audio latency is off, definitely fix that. And then, yeah, that's basically it. That's all you really need to know to get better at Beat Saber. If this helped, you know, if these tips were useful, then definitely hit the like button and subscribe and whatever. If you like these kinds of videos, and I really hope this helped you get better at the game. Peace. Bonus section for Quest users. If you're having tracking problems with your Quest controllers, this only works for Quest 1 and 2, I do believe, and mostly for Quest 1. But, let me grab my controller real quick. If you're having tracking problems, it can often be because your battery is slipping out of place or coming off of the spring each time. So I use a piece of aluminum foil inside the battery thing to help make a tighter seal on the battery. So I would just take a piece of like aluminum foil and then fold it up and then lay it on top of the spring, so you can just slide the battery in, and it doesn't really, like, I don't know if I can show this that well, but it doesn't move at all once you have a piece of aluminum foil in there. And one other thing you can do, which I'll leave a link in the description, that's how I should do it. That's a video on how to change the tracking frequency of the Quest from 50 Hz to 60 Hz, which will help track the controllers better, which should improve your experience with, like, you know, in Beat Saber, because I know sometimes controllers can fly off or can disconnect. So these two tips should definitely help out a lot. And other than that, yeah. So I hope this helps.